Some guys got it and some guys don't. And it's up to Reed and Veach to make the decisions about who's on this team as they make a three-peat run. Let's break it down. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ryan going rogue. This is my channel, and we're going to have some fun today because this is the final 53-man prediction prior to the last preseason game. It's a lot of P's right there, but we're going to have a good time, and we'll see how it falls out and what twists and turns. Make sure you like, sub, hit the bell, and get with us here. We're brought to you by our friends over at Autograph. We'll have more from them later. But right now, it's that fun time where a lot of this roster is set. There may only be 3-4 positions that are even up in the air at this point, but that's what the last preseason game is for. We're going to see a lot of snaps from a lot of guys, not the starters. I don't know if they're going to give some guys that were like the fringe guys, like Caliendo, et cetera, some run. I think they should, and I think that will probably pay off, but it's going to be pretty quick. So I'm just going to take today, rather than breaking down a bunch of individual players, I'm going to give you positions. And it comes down to this. We're going to go straight down the roster. So if you're hanging in for defense, hang with me, but make sure you click the like and you subscribe to the channel. For you members, I'm going to have some of my rants coming for you as well. So make sure you're ready for that. Here we go. It's a 2-quarterback team. It is Mahomes and Wentz, and that's really all there is to it. Chris Olido can be the scout team on the practice squad. Quarterback, going to be great. Sold on him. The running back's a little bit questionable, but it's a 1-2 punch right now. It is Pacheco and Steele as your 1s and 2s back. The question is CEH. And right now I'm leaning towards they're going to get him back and they're not going to put him on IR. As Andy said this week, I think that's important. I think they want a little bit of insurance. So right now I am going with 4 running backs on the roster, knowing that they may have to run the ball more this year than they have in the last 2 years. So there's going to be a volume thing there. I will say this too. I have an asterisk on the running back spot that Generic Prince currently has as the number 4, because I think that might be another acquisition. Generic Prince just hasn't been able to really break through to demand attention as a roster participant. And so I think he's a guy that could get replaced on a cut down of another player that they like that can pass protect, catch the ball, and actually has a top gear that they could use. So keep an eye out on that. Right now, I see the Chiefs keeping 6 wide receivers, and it feels like they want to keep Brown. I'm not sure that's the way that it works. I said on Locked On Chiefs that I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to IR. I'm going to treat it the opposite way here. I'm going to say that he's going to be okay, and they're going to carry him a week or two and not go the IR route. So it's Brown, Rice, Worthy. Your top 3, no question. Watson, Moore, and then it came down to a decision. I've been back and forth, and I really like what Nico Remigio brings, but he just hasn't shown me enough. Justin Ross has made a lot of improvement, but he's still not quite up to speed on the mental side of the offense. So I think by default, and the fact that he can run the deep routes, I think McCole Hardman makes this roster as the 6th receiver, and that's the way that they go. Then they come back, and if you're going to have 6 and you're going to run the ball a little bit, you got to have somebody that can block. That's certainly Wiley at the tight end position. I don't think it's so much Irv Smith. I have just 3. Kels, Gray, and Wiley make this roster. And then comes the biggins. And this is a 10-man offensive line unit right now. For this reason, and maybe this reason alone, you have a couple guys that are banged up. You have Juwan Taylor, who's banged up. We understand he's going to be all right for week 1. We'll go with that. You have Joe Thuney, who has not had any significant competition in more than 9 months. This is important to understand. Yes, he should be back. Andy Reid said he should play, but you got to be prepared. And the guy that could back him up and is backing up Kingsley Suamataia at left tackle is Wanya Morris, who is currently got a deep bone bruise and is currently not going either. So there's a lot of questions here. You need volume. You don't want to let a guy like Caliendo, who's played snaps for you and can do multiple positions, you don't want to let him go. He's kind of your emergency 6th guy. You have Lucas Niang, who you want to have faith in. And you have the rookie Norzat, who I think is the backup center right now and can play left guard for you if you need him to. And then it comes down to what might happen if. And that is CJ Hansen. They've given him a lot of run. I think you can get him to the practice squad, but to be safe, and in case there's multiple injuries at the position group, I think they're going to bring CJ Hansen onto the roster, at least initially, so that he's not subject to waivers, at least not right now. We'll see what happens after week 1, et cetera, et cetera. But the big question came down to Niang or the big guy in Driscoll, who I like what he brings. He definitely is super raw, but I think he has potential. I think they're going to right now have to take a risk on getting him to the practice squad in case something were to go wrong with Juwan Taylor and you need someone with experience to start. I think that gives a slight edge to Lucas Niang. I don't like the athleticism. I don't like the way he's playing, but the experience does go a long way for this coaching staff.
Download the free Autograph app right now. You can watch your favorite creators in Chiefs Kingdom like RGR on this app, listen to the podcast and read the articles and get points for everything you do that lead to the big rewards. Download Autograph for free from our link below or use the code RGR.
That's the offensive side. I have 25 on the offense, 25 on the defense. And that's going to be the way that it goes. 3 specialists. We know who they are. It's Bucker, Oreza, and Winchester. And Winchester did get someone signed to long snap in his stead this week for the final preseason game. But I do believe he will be back and healed and your long snapper for the season. So let's look at the defense. I think it's pretty cut and dry for me. You need bodies right now with Chris Jones out, with Derek Nottie not having played significant snaps. They should be your starters. They're going to have them. Our guy, Turk Wharton, Mike Pennell, and I think the guy that they feel they can rely on the most to actually do something is Dickerson. I think he makes the roster as a 5-man interior with both Neil Farrell and Lovett, my guy Fabian, on the practice squad. Yes, they made an investment in Farrell, and that could make them hem and haw a little bit, but it comes down to putting out against the Ravens and the Bengals, and I do think that sways it into Matt Dickerson's name, at least to begin the season. We'll see what happens after that. Then out on the edge, it's Karlaftis and Dana who are going to start the games for you. FAU, who's going to be the rotational player behind them. Charles Omeni, who's likely to go straight to the pup. We'll see if that's the way that it comes down. And Malik Herring is a guy that can play both. He is a defensive lineman. I won't even call him an edge. I'm going to call him a DL because that's what he is. He's going to get out there as well. At the next level, hurt Nick Bolton should be coming back. Definitely the leader of the position group, but in his stead, you have Trank who came on, and Drew Tranquil played great. He's going to be a guy that has another 100-tackle season, and you're happy to have him. So it's Bolton, Tranquil, Chanel as your starters. You have Cochran and Jones as your backups, and I do think that is the order right now. Now, Jacobs came on and had a nice second preseason game. If he stands out in 3, he could push Jones and Cochran. I don't know who's ahead there. I think I see some trouble spots at all 3 of their games, but if Jacobs takes the opportunity in preseason game number 3 and really stands out, we could see a little jumbling here, but right now I have it, Jones and Cochran, and that's the way they go. Your corner group is thick, and barring a trade here, which could come all the way down to cut down day, this is what I have. McDuffie is clearly your number 1. Hopefully they can find a way to let him travel and not get him stuck in the nickel again, because that's going to rely on Nazeeh Johnson, Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams. Those are your top 4. Then it becomes iffy. And I think the way that it comes down for me is upside. There was a neck-and-neck race, in my opinion, between Kelvin Joseph and Keith Taylor in this preseason. I think Joseph gets the upside by just a hair. He's a little bit better athlete. The guy that squeezes onto this roster is Chris Roland Wallace, because he can play in the nickel and he can play safety for you. He's actually listed as a safety. I see him as the backup nickel corner right here. And especially if you want to get Trent McDuffie out of it, he's got to be a guy that grows into that role. Nazeeh Johnson can be in there as well, but I think the nickel's going to be the limiting factor here. I have Taylor as a priority practice squatter guy. I have the draft pick Kamal Haddon as a guy that needs some time to mature, and he will do that on the practice squad. Then you have names like Nick Jones, Miles Battle, Echo Boydo. I think they're all goals to get them to the practice squad. I think some of them will get picked up. So it's going to be a tough one. They're going to have to be very, very careful. But I think Joseph and CRW have the edge. Then it comes to the safety group, and I put Chamari Connor back in the safety group because Justin Reed says he's going to be able to play. Okay, great. I'm happy to hear it. But they've been practicing Connor at safety quite a bit. So I have it as Reed, Cook, Hicks, and Connor. And that is your safety group. That rounds it out. 25 on the defense, plus 25 on the offense. We are at 53, and that is your roster. That's how I see it going into preseason game number 3. Some fortunes can turn there. Probably not a lot, but we'll have to see how that game goes. We'll have live reaction for you, of course, after the Thursday night game to end the preseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then we'll get into the waiting game. They'll make some cuts early. They'll make some cuts later on as it gets closer to the deadline. And I'll have more for you as we get down to the wire there. I think it will be a process. I don't think we're going to have all of them all at once. They will make a little bit of a process out of it. So that's my 53 today. What do you think? What don't you like? What do you agree with? Put it in the notes down below. Leave your comments. Check out all the gear from RGR. I have some new stuff coming as well. Check out our sponsors. Make sure I have something special for you next week. If you want a piece of what the Chiefs are, make sure you're with us next week when we announce our newest offering with one of our partners. I'm excited about it. Have a great day. Dan's back tomorrow. Then we're getting ready for pregame. Have a good time, and we'll talk to you then.
On-field helmet. Now the only question is, get this thing off.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.